Namaskar. Welcome to our special segment of Stars Aligned on Bharat TV and Bharat FM. Today we have a treat for all music lovers. For all you 80s and 90s music lovers, this is going to be truly special because today we have the Golden Jubilee super hit, super genius musical duo Anand Milind. Without further ado, let's bring on Anandji and Milindji. Hello, namaste, Anandji.
Namaste, namaste everyone.
I think Milindji is joining in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Anandji, we'd like to start from the beginning. शुरू से शुरुआत करते हैं. Growing up under such an illustrious father, Chitragupta ji, how has that changed what has it brought to your life, enriched your life, and was it in any way influential in your choice of career as music directors?
See, to be very honest, my father, we come from a caste family from Bihar, and there everyone is only into education. So, all my cousins and even my dad and all my relatives, they appear for all these competitive exams and then go into कोई income tax में चले जाता है. Some people go into, government service or whatever. They do very well. So dad, in those days, he himself was a double MA with political science and one more subject. And anyway, he had this music in him. He came to Bombay, tried his luck. He was extremely lucky because he didn't have to struggle much. There used to be a music director, S.N. Tripathi, who, he went and met him and then became his assistant. So to cut things short, later on, हमारे यहाँ भी it was the same thing. पूरा ध्यान पढ़ाई पे रखो. We were not allowed to. Yeah, Milind is joining.
Yes.
Hi, Milind. Hi. Everything was focused. We had to focus on our studies. I graduated with chemistry, and then I did a course in business management, and then joined law. That's a long story. And Papa didn't want us to come into this industry. He said, "Ki all study and all, and then make a career, something else." But whatever we learned and whatever we are today, it's all because of him. And ultimately, I completed my studies. Milind completed his studies. It so happened that we had a piano in the house. And then Milind learned the guitar. And then when Dad knew that, ये पढ़ाई से भटकने वाले नहीं हैं. They've completed their studies. They can get a job, good job somewhere and all. So gradually, I mean, जो लिखा होता है वही होता है. That's what happened with us also.
So, how did you get your first break? Tell us a little bit about that.
That's a very that's a very interesting story. We used to stay in a locality called Khar, and that lane was called 14th. It was 14th Road, and one of our neighbors was Pankaj Parashar, the director who directed so many films, made Chalbaz and Jalwa and all this. So when we were children, we used to play together, cricket and all that, and hang around together. And that time he used to tell us that when I pass out and after my graduation and all that, I want to become a director. And when I become a director, I will give you all a break as a music director. तो ये मजाक में चलते रहता था. But what happened was in 1982, he did his direction course from FTII. He was very good, technically, absolutely genius. And then when he came back to Bombay from Pune, he did some ad films, some jingles and this and that and all that. And when he got his first break, that film was called Ab Aayega Maza. In those days, if you remember, there were a lot of comedy light films which were made with Farooq Sheikh and those type of Chashme Badur and Jaane Bhi To Yaar and all that. This was the same genre. So when he got this film, he said, "Well, now I've got my break and y'all are giving the music." Actually speaking, I panicked because before that, I had assisted my dad for a lot of his recordings. So, to assist someone and then to actually give music in a film, it's a vast difference. I never imagined that I would actually become music composer, but then that was the beginning from Apayega Maza. And our first song was sung by none other than Lata Mangeshkar ji.
Wow.
Still remember it was the 19th of October 1982 when our first song was recorded. And it was recorded in one take, there was no retake. So everything went off perfect.
Welcome, Milind ji. Welcome again. And
Thank you.
I was also asking Anand ji, what influence, having such an illustrious father like the great Chitragupta ji had on your life and especially in your musical career. We would like to hear from you.
Papa was not very keen on us entering the film industry, and he was more keen that we graduate and finish our education. Anand graduated and then he did his diploma in business management and joined law. And तब तक अब आएगा मजा शुरू हो गई, तो he gave up. I did my BA with psychology, sociology, MA with sociology, and I registered for a PhD on and my subject was going to be Hindi film music and its impact on society. So I was doing it under one professor Narayan, and I started writing the thesis. तब तक पहली film मिल गई. So as soon as we got the first movie, then there was no looking back. And Papa's influence, I would say, is that he fell sick couple of times, and then we became his assistants, and we started going to the studio and recording songs, assisting him. So basically, Anand used to compose a lot of those interlude pieces which you have, and then both of us used to sit and balance all the instruments, and that's how we gained practical experience.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Anand is a pianist, and I play the guitar. And of course, now both of us can program songs. We do it on the Logic with my MacBook Pro and all that. And we've programmed songs earlier as well. A lot of our songs have been programmed on the hardware by me earlier on. So, being Chitraguptji's sons also helped us in this. We learned Western instruments, both piano and guitar. But on the guitar, Papa taught me a lot of rags, Hindustani rags. And Papa was a graduate in music, Bhatkande School, Lucknow. And he was classically very well trained, Papa. So he taught me quite a lot of rags. He taught us, like the popular ones, Bhairavi, Bairagi, Malkos. And he said, Uttai rag sikho, learn only that much which will be useful for you if you ever have to compose in that rag. Don't go deep into it, because if you go into deep classical, then people don't want to listen to you. They listen to Pandit Bhimsen Joshi or Kishori Amonkar ji. Why will they listen to you? So you just learn that much ki jo kaam which will be of use to you. And that really helped, because we got a chance on quite a few occasions to base our songs on rags. Like we've used Kalavati, we've done songs in Shivranjani quite often, Bhairavi also. So basically, that's how it helped. And Papa's influence has always been there, but he said, don't follow my style, because I worked in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Now you all are working in the late 80s and 90s. You should have your own style. And luckily, after Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak, which was our seventh release, we did 6 movies before that. अब आएगा मजा, पीछा करो, तन बदन, जलवा, माँ बेटी, खून बहा गंगा में, and then कयामत से कयामत तक. But these 6 films did fairly well at the box office, but they were not major hits. So we got recognition with Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak, which was our seventh release. And luckily, everything was fresh. So even the style of music, what we sat with Mansoor, Anand, me, and even though we had a veteran lyricist, Majru Sultanpuri, but his writing is as young as our music, or probably younger than that.
Then, yeah,
And it was great time, वो style एक develop हो गया हम लोग का. But then again, as they say in the industry, you have to move with times and the kind of movies you get, and one needs to be versatile. So we were very fond of romantic music, romantic songs, and you know, the QSQT kind of music.
Right, right.
Then we moved on to Kulli number one, Hero number one, and Raja Babu, and then we had to sit and compose more difficult ones, which Anand says always says ki the producers used to just come and use a very silly term कि item गाना चाहिए. We need an item song. So making these songs like मैं तो रास्ते से जा रहा था and all
So,
for
but I would
Govinda.
like to say that even when you made those songs, that had music. I mean, that is why we still remember those songs, and we still, sing those songs.
Yeah, because
Uh,
you're
uh,
absolutely right. Because those songs also we didn't leave melody. So there was
Yeah,
melody, and even the
if
writing had something in it. You know.
no, and
right.
especially if you leave aside the picturization and okay, I mean because the situation demanded we had to have lines like "Raste se ja raha tha," but if you only hum the tune, they can be like any other romantic song, like any other sweet song, even the
That is
mukhadas and
exactly
yeah.
correct.
That's what has worked. That is why the shelf life has been so long, and they're so popular even today.
Yeah,
You know,
Absolutely.
but
I always give the example of Raja Babu's song also, E. So if you just sing the tune, it's very melodious. Ta 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 ra 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 re re ra 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 re 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 ra ra re ra.
Right.
It's so melodious if you sing it without, you
Exactly.
know.
I mean, that was the exact song that I was referring to. That you
but
can
there is
just sing.
there is one difference, Anand, between the songs like we did for QSQT and between these songs which we did for Govinda. Most
Yeah,
of Govinda songs need to have a solid beat, and
yeah. That was the demand. You needed it.
and the tempo needs to be a little up
Upbeat.
tempo so that Govinda can dance on it.
But actually speaking, we enjoyed making all these songs also, and we were very lucky that we got to make a lot of variety. We gave in. Every film was different. Romantic film ke alag the. Then there were films like Sangeet, which had light classical music. So we got a chance to give every type of music. So and
Experiment with all kinds of music.
yes.
So that brings me to another question. Did you always start out thinking that you would go as a duo, or was that a process that kind of happened in your journey?
See, actually, when we started composing, initially, as Milind said, I used to, both of us used to compose some music interlude pieces for dad, assist him and all that. And gradually, when we became composers, उसके पहले का period was very interesting because uh, my dad said that why don't you all compose a few songs? So let me see whether you all have it in you or no. So we had made I don't know, I don't remember. I think million maybe 100, 200 songs.
Yeah,
We used to
more
keep
than
on
100.
composing.
More than 100.
That was a very important time. That was a time when we realized that we can compose songs for films.
Actually, this basic idea was Papa's. And he said ki since Anand learned piano from a very early age, and I started learning guitar when I was about 16, 17, quite late. But Daddy always felt that if the two of you work together as a duo, he said ki you will work together, you all will work uh, साथ साथ काम करोगे तो your this thing income will also be the same, and you'll be together. That kind of feeling that he had. Am I right, Anand?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rather
He used to
than
yeah, he used to always say that your status will be the same.
yeah,
And it's a big advantage actually. When two people are there, you can share responsibilities.
because in the 90s when we were doing about 100 movies at a time, and 20 movies are almost ready for release, 20 new movies are being launched, and about 40, 50 films are midway.
Mm-hmm.
We did the background score for almost 125 movies of ours. So working on the background score as well, the whole background score of the full film in the 90s, especially, we performed all over the world, shows in America, South Africa, Durban, Johannesburg, and all that. and London, Birmingham, etc. So they used to be Anand Milind nights with Amir Khan and Salman Khan. They used to always be with us. And besides them, we used to have Dharmender and other artists as well, Ravina Tandon, sometimes Karishma, many of these. But Amir and Salman were always there in our shows. So when we had to go for shows, so we used to be under tremendous pressure, having so many movies. So very often it used to happen that Anand is recording one song at one studio and I'm recording another song at a different studio, or Anand is recording songs and I'm doing some background score because we have to complete that much of work before we leave for our tour. And these tours used to be at least for 10 to 15 days. Like in America, we performed America and Canada, about 12 cities, Anand, if I remember, 10
Yeah,
cities in US and two in Canada, Vancouver and Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah, so it was a trip of about 20 days. Before going, we had to really slog it out.
So you think it was always a kind of a process that you would start out together, and it also helped क्योंकि आप
Yeah.
बोल रहे थे compliment करते थे एक दूसरे का talents and whatever you used to get it together. Another question that comes to mind is other music director duos जैसे शंकर जयकिशन जी थे तो उनका एक कैसे एक डिवीजन ऑफ जॉनरा हो जाता था कहा जाता है कि शंकर जी would give music for the dance based or classical music based songs and Jai Kishan ji was more western and romantic songs तो वैसा कुछ आप दोनों में हुआ क्या like was there a specific kind of song that say Anand ji would like to give music to and a specific song that Milind ji would give music to.
I think we didn't make any division, because whenever we got a situation, both of us used to work on the situation. And very often it was that he would come up with one tune, I would come up with one tune, and then we used to leave it to the director to decide which one he wants to use. Then proceed with the yantras and all that. Like you were mentioning about Shankar Jagishan, I think Shankar ji has given some fantastic Western numbers also.
Yeah.
Those balls numbers and all that, they have been his compositions. Uh, but very often, I think we worked slightly different in the sense it must have happened that the Mukhra was composed by me and Milind came up with a very nice antra, so that was used. Or the song was composed by one person, the other person uh, contributed a lot in the orchestration and all that. So, no hard and fast rule, actually.
Okay, that's so interesting to know. It's always interesting to know how the musical genius of two people come together as one, and the result is sheer magic. It's so nice to know how you came up with the tunes, and how did you select the singers for a particular song?
See, we were very clear about singers because the moment this song was composed, we knew exactly which singer we have to take. We were very clear about that. And another thing was that we were very fond of experimenting. Give you an example, in those days, Kumar Sanu was busy singing those ghazal-based songs like Ashiki and Dil Ke Manta Nahi and all those songs. उसी टाइम में we composed this song Tu Tara. Nobody would have imagined a Kumar Sanu singing this song, but we were sure that it's going to sound very nice and it's going to sound very different. So we got him for this song. Or for that matter, even मैं तो रास्ते से जा रहा था, sung by Kumar Sanu. So I think as far as singers were concerned, we were very clear, and we were very clear. We knew exactly their pitch and scale. कि ये ऊंचा नोट है, ये कौन सा सिंगर बेटर गाएगा, and what voice throw. Also keeping in mind, whoever was enacting it on screen. A lot of factors.
And which singer did you uh, think was easiest to work with, or it was did you have a favorite singer that you liked to work with?
I think we can talk of Udit Narayan because he sang in QSQT and then he sang quite a few songs for us and used to be our favorite.
So, do you
And
think that the first, because he sang for the first time in your film, and that film became such a super duper stupendous hit, that had a that you developed a kind of connection?
yes, it did actually because, and one more thing is that Udit had sung a few songs, very few songs for our dad as well during
Yeah,
his struggle days.
yeah,
And when we made him sing, we actually did a small video film for Mansoor Khan, which was called Ambato. So that had two songs, and we called in Udit for that. And after that, when Mansoor started this film, Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak, so I think Udit's name came cropped up because he had already sung for Mansoor, and we all liked him, in those two songs which we had recorded in his voice. And one thing about Udit must be mentioned here that he has his own original voice and original. His style of singing is very original. His voice also quality doesn't resemble anybody. In fact, he's got his own voice. Like
yeah, absolutely. Very different voice. He didn't follow any singer. He had his own style. And apart from that, I think all of them used to be our favorites. All these singers, Udit or Abhijit or Kumar Sanu और जितने लोगों से हम लोग ने गवाया, इवन अलका, साधना सरगम एंड पूर्णिमा, और सारे गाने बहुत पॉपुलर हुए एंड
and
वी वेरी कंफर्टेबल विद ऑल ऑफ देम.
yeah,
या
the earlier years, the first two films we were talking about, Ab Aayega Maza and Picha Karo, we had done a movie.
या
We are lucky Kishore Da sang for us in that. So
Yes,
we
I
have
heard that song from A Baiga Maza that was sung by Kishore Kumar. That is
there are two
wonderful.
songs in that film, Kab Jaane Anjane,
Kab
and then
Jane.
there's one, Sola Baras Ki Kam Se
Right.
Numariya. And then he sang in Picha Karo as well, and Asha Aunty also sang, Lata Aunty also sang. We call them Asha Aunty, Lata Aunty since childhood, so it's been that way. And I think we were just very unlucky that Rafi Saab never sang for us because we started a career in 1982. Rafi Saab died in 1980.
Yeah,
So that is one thing we really miss because Rafi Saab has created some of the most wonderful songs with our father, Chitragupta ji, like
absolutely.
Jag De Le Deewana, or
सो मेनी.
even even the popular ones like Chal Ud Ja Re Panchi, Chali Chali Re Patang, and all that.
Although I have to say that my favorite of the song of Chitragupt ji is "Dekho Mausam Kya Bahar Hai" from Opera House. I remember those because those were songs we used to sing in our college days as well. So you can imagine, वो गाने पुराने नहीं होते हैं, वो कैसे अभी भी हमारे रिपीट मोड में चलते रहते हैं. So it's so.
Yeah, there is one video which has gone viral, and our dear friend Nitin Mukeshji's son, because Mukeshji sang this song, his grandchild sings this song, "Dekho Mausam Kya Bahar Hai."
Oh,
She must
Must
be
be.
all of two and a half, 3 years, and she sings it so beautifully. You must watch that video.
I will. I will. Now that you've mentioned it, I have to go back and watch it. That's so amazing. But tell us, do you have any stories of all the singers, or some interesting tidbits that you have had with so many in experiences that over so many years? Anything that stands out?
With
First of all,
singer,
we were so lucky that we got to see Rafi Saab and Kishore Da and Lata Aunty and all face to face, not on one occasion, on several occasions, because they used to come to
they
our.
used to come to rehearse the songs at home, and we used to either be sitting in if we were allowed by dad, or we used to stand outside the door and peep. And
And there was one song in which Rafi Saab had come for rehearsal, and Dad's assistants, they had not reached, or they were busy. I don't know what. I don't remember. I used to play the rhythm, sometimes. So Rafi साहब just looked at that and said कि थोड़ा सा beat beat अगर मिल जाता. So and I got the chance
Oh,
to
wow.
play, and then I did that in so many songs. He was rehearsing, and I used to play the tabla ka baya and give him the beat. And every time he had such a cute smile, and lovely person. I say human beings, I think अब होते ही नहीं है. So he used to turn around and look at me and do this. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा. He used to encourage me. So these sort of so many incidents.
So
Lata
you,
aunty used to come home so often for lunch. Whenever she came down to Mehboob Studios, which was very close to our house, किसी की भी रिकॉर्डिंग के लिए वो आती थी एस डी बर्मन और वो.
mhm.
सो शी यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज मेक इट अ पॉइंट. उनके यहाँ से फ़ोन आ जाता था कि लंच के लिए मैं आ रही हूँ 1 बजे. सो
Yeah,
वी सीन ऑल दिस.
she used to come home, have a favorite meal. Mummy used to cook. She used to call up and tell her mother, "Bhabhi, lunch at your place." And then very often, and then she used to rest, and they used to gossip for a couple of hours, and then she used to go back to Pedder Road to her house.
Such
Since Mehboob
wonderful
was close to
memories.
our house, And Lata aunty incidentally kept my name Milind. My
Oh,
name has been
wow.
kept by her. So she named me Milind Madhav. So I never I never called myself Madhav, just Milind. And recently, about a few years ago, when I met her, I said, "आपने नाम इतना अच्छा चुना. It rhymes so well, Anand Milind. You know, a rhyming name." So
Yes.
Anand says probably she thought of it at that moment of time, कि when I was born, and when she named me, she must have thought of it. If they become composers, the name should rhyme.
That is so wonderful. What a wonderful thought. I mean, imagine, something like that being thought of before, preordained kind of.
Yeah, she's been very, very close to our family, very close part of our family. And besides singing so many songs for Papa, she sang our first song, "Raja Tere Raste Se Hat Jaungi, Gaadi ke Niche Jaake Kat Jaungi," which Anand said was recorded on the 19th of October 1982. Before the
Yeah,
song,
I
we went to
mentioned
a
that.
house with Papa and we said, Papa said, these sons are now going
Ready.
independent and they are going to compose. So you have to come and sing. And we were quite worried because I remember in those days, if they had even a little bit of cough or cold, they used to never attend the recording, because आवाज अच्छी नहीं आती है.
Mhm.
And then it used to be dubbed later. And I and Anand were just praying कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. She must come and sing it. It's her first song. And come she did, yes. And she sang it live with the orchestra. So it was a great experience. And then even after that, she sang quite a few of our songs like Aake Teri Baahon Mein Har Sham Lage Sinduri with SP Balasubramanyam.
Mhm.
Even the other song Anand with SP मैंने तुझे खत लिखा ओ सजना मैंने तुझे खत लिखा. So quite a few of songs Lata auntie sang for us. And as of now, the latest news is that we won the Lata Mangeshkar Award, which is given by the Madhya Pradesh government for the year 2020. So
Congratulations. That is
thank you.
awesome news. That is
And it's
awesome news and well deserved. So
it's
well
quite
deserved.
a prestigious award because it's a Lata Mangeshkar Award. Yeah.
Absolutely. And sir, you just mentioned SP Balasubramanyam. Now, we have heard that he recorded 10 songs for you in one single
In
day.
a day. In a day. Anand will tell
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. So in those days, we were recording almost 20-25 songs a month, and then there were so many songs we felt that SPG would sing this very well. We used to record the tracks, and very often I used to sing it so that it was picturized. And then we didn't want to trouble and keep coming to Bombay. And when he used to be very busy in Chennai also, so we collected a good number of songs, and we
10 songs.
got 10 songs, and we called him up. We didn't tell him first that it's going to be 10. He said, "बालाजी आपके लिए कुछ गाने हैं." I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'll come, fix up the date and all that." Will you believe this? He came by the morning flight, and then we said, "There are a lot of songs." So he said, "No problem. So I'll come on a particular day." and then next morning I can leave, or maybe next evening. And if it is needed, I'll keep 2 free days. If there are too many songs, I said okay. So he asked me how many. I said I think four, five, 6 songs. He said then I can go the next day. I said no problem. So he came by the morning flight, and we went to a studio called Film Center, which is in a place called Tardev, and we dubbed 5 songs over there. And after that, he said, "So done?" I said, "Yeah, the tracks over here are done." And by the way, he used to be like a computer. He and Chitraji. You just give them the song and rehearse it just once, and that's enough. I don't know how computer ke tarah, with all the uh, detailed expressions and everything, you just sing it back, and just one rehearsal, and let's go on the mic. So he sang 5 songs, and then till lunchtime we had lunch together. And then Milind said that there are another few songs in Mehboob studio. It's quite far from there,
Traveled
Mumbai.
from Philip Center to Mehboob,
Oh my
So we
God.
took
which is
him to Mehboob.
about
There he dubbed 5 songs. And will you believe this? By the evening flight, he went back.
Oh my God.
He didn't have to wait another day. And all perfect, absolutely. No complaints. So I mean, Baluji was brilliant. It was a real experience working with
we
these
we
people.
really miss him. The biggest loss in the pandemic is Baluji going away. And just about a year before he passed, he came over to our academy. We've opened up an academy where we teach music since the last 4 years.
Mhm.
Baluji came to our academy, Anand Milind's Academy of Music. We teach Hindustani vocal, Western vocal, guitar, keyboard, all these instruments.
We would
So
definitely want to hear more about that as well, sir.
yeah, so actually the academy was the classes used to be offline, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
In the we had 3 big halls we have in the school in Bombay in Powai. But during lockdown, couple of months we didn't have anything going on, and then we started online, and it became very successful online. In fact, now online we have students from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Scotland also.
I think that in that way, the pandemic has really brought us closer to a
Yeah.
big, to a large extent. हम कभी सोचे नहीं थे कि ऐसा हम कर सकते हैं, लेकिन पैंडेमिक के चलते we were forced to think in a different way. And I think that's what you're saying as well, right?
Yes, yes. In fact, when now things are getting better, and we hope and pray that things get back to absolutely normal like before. But online is here to stay because all the students online, at least I think 70% of our students, they want to continue online because one thing is they don't have to travel and come to the academy, and they can sit in the comfort of their drawing room
Correct.
and learn from there. So online is here to stay now, which is one big change I find in the world. Online teaching, online learning.
So
Absolutely.
before we move away from SP Balasubrahmanyam, could you please just hum a few lines of your favorite SP song?
One of our songs, which has become really, really popular. I think all his songs get very popular, but I'll just sing. There's no accompaniment, but आके तेरी बाहों में हर शाम लगे सिंदूरी आके तेरी बाहों में हर शाम लगे सिंदूरी मेरे मन को तरराए तेरे मन को बहकाए मेरे मन की कस्तूरी आके तेरी बाहों में हर
हर
शाम
शाम लगे
लगे सिंदूरी ओ आके तेरी बाहों में हर
हर
शाम लगे सिंदूरी। वो जगह थी वो, दैट वाज टिपिकल बालू जी। आके तेरी बाहों में। So take it so well, lovely.
Beautiful. And as- another name that big name that kind of you worked with was uh, Rishikesh Mukherjee. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, great experience working with Rishida, and all the more because as children we watched Papa work with him in one film called Pyar Ka Sapna, Biswajit and Mala Sinha, which was not a very, it was not a big box office hit, but it had some really beautiful songs. And obviously, everybody is awed by the films that Rishida made. In fact, some of the best films that we've seen are made by him. So when Jhoot Bole Kawa Kate started and the producers told us that Rishikesh Mukherjee is directing it, we were absolutely thrilled. And the best thing working with him was that Rishida gave us such a free hand to work. Situations ये हैं, आप लोग आराम से बैठ के कंपोज कीजिए. And I think it was a very, we worked very smoothly. There was absolutely no problem. We tried to create good melodies. The lyric writer was Anand Bakshi. Bakshi Saab was also
Big
absolutely in his,
asset,
yeah,
very big
and
asset.
he was absolutely in his best moods with Rishida, having, I mean, the kind of respect that he had in the industry. And it was great fun working. The only regret is I thought the film should have done better. Better.
Well, at least the music was good. I mean, I think the film did reasonably well,
Yeah, and we also, the title song Jhoot Bole Kawa Kate was sung by Shamak Davar,
right?
the choreographer,
Right,
that
right.
dancer. So we knew he sings, and I think someone suggested, we called him over, rehearsed him, and he sang pretty well.
So that was another experiment that turned out really good. And I think you are the only music directors of your generation that got to work with uh, someone like Rishikesh Mukherjee. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't make very many films after that.
No, he
No, he
was not
did make.
keeping well. So
Right.
he had this uric acid problem and used to be troubled by that so often. But one thing, it was so easy working with him. Cannot
There were
imagine.
two duets, Anand, both were very nice.
Yeah,
One was Dil
one was
Ye Dil,
uh, that was
and
a
the other
lovely
one,
song.
that
आँखों में तेरे रे रा रा रे तेरी रा रा रे रा तेरी रे
there was a
तेरे
fun,
बिन
there was
मेरा
a
दिल
fun song.
अलगे
There was
fun
one
song
fun
was also
song.
there.
Aata hai chawal,
Uh,
chawal hai, Bakshi Saab.
yeah, yeah, beautifully. It was an experience. I mean, working with such a director.
And sir, now we have a surprise for you. We have, uh, I would like to say, one of your biggest fans who has been wanting to talk to you for years and years. And he is waiting very patiently in the wings. So, with your permission, I would like to bring him on.
Sure.
Sure, sure.
So, a big welcome to
Oh,
Anthony Fernandez.
Namaste.
Hello, sir. Namaste. Sir,
namaste, namaste.
I cannot begin to tell you how excited and happy I am. I have been waiting for, I think, since '94 when I discovered your music. From then, I have always had this dream that someday I would talk to you. And I'm really grateful to Nayantara and Bharat FM to give me this opportunity. Over the years, I've spoken to both your daughters over chat and,
Yes.
worked on your YouTube channel and your Facebook. But this
I've
is
also been following all that you write, Anthony, and it's really lovely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm so happy and thrilled. I cannot begin to tell you. I told a few people I'm going to be doing this, and then I was like, if this doesn't happen, it's going to be a big pop-up moment for me. So I was waiting for Nayantara to call me on. So I'm really excited. So before I ask you any questions, I wanted to share how I got into being an Anand Milind fan. So, like I said, we heard all your songs, like whether it was Kamat Se Kamat Tak. I remember even Wo Fir Aayegi, the film which released in I think 87, 88. Then there was Mahasangram, Pagi, Dil, Beta, Saugand, Ai Milan Ki Raat. But I didn't know it was you. In my head, it was always the actor actress first because I was like 7, 8 when these films started, and the only music composers I knew were Lakshmikant Pyarelal and Nadeem Shravan because they were on all the music, on all the magazine covers and everywhere. And then in '94 there was a film that came called Pehla Pehla Pyar, which was Tabu's first film, and Mr. Rishi Kapoor was in that film. And I remember the trailer coming, and I saw your name there, and then I started going to the library and reading a little bit more about you guys, trying to find out. And I realized 80 to 90% of the films that I liked were by you guys. That's when I, realized that, oh, wait, it's not anybody else, it's Anand Milind. And I started following, I started going to cassette shops and seeing what else. And I even dug up some of the old cassettes. Like we had a cassette of Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak, and I was like, wow, this film is also by them. I had no idea. So then that's how it started. It's been such a long journey, and I finally get to talk to both of you. It's wonderful.
It's lovely talking to you.
Thank you, sir. There's a film called Rakt, which I think released in early 2000s, and you all did one song in that with Viva. So I just wanted to know how did you all get that film, and why Viva? How did you all collaborate with them?
Rakt we got through
Pravesh.
a friend of ours, Pravesh. He's son of N.N. Sippi,
Hmm.
the popular maker. And with Pravesh, we worked quite a few films, prominent among them being Aaj Ka Gunda Raj with
Yeah.
Chiranjeevi, in which that song was very popular, Tota Mere Tota Main To
Yes.
Tejne.
Yes.
So Pravesh came with this idea कि एक गाना करना है. And before saying this, I would like to say that the later 90s, multiple music composers a fashion, it started. And before this, you had multiple writers, but multiple composers, one never had. Used to have one composer. And we did all our movies as the only composers in that particular film. And we also composed background score, as I just told Nayantara ji. Almost 125 films ka background we did. So in the 90s, we got quite a few projects in which they wanted us to share credits, and we refused. And that's where we lost lots of movies. I don't want to name anybody, it doesn't look good, but quite big films. A producer approached me, and his movie was an A-grade film. And he said ki there'll be three composers in this. I came back and I spoke to Anand. Anand was also not at all keen. What's the point in just doing two songs and all? But as of now, today, we are back into working into uh, films have taken a back seat in during the pandemic, and we are waiting to get back. But OTT platform has come up, and digital work, singles are being released. So we are also doing all that kind of work, and we are open to doing a single song as well. So in this film, Pravesh Sippi requested कि एक ही गाना है, but you all do it. Maybe और गाने हो बाद में. I don't think a second song happened.
I think we
And
recorded one more song, but it wasn't
used
used. The situation wasn't there in the film. It was in the sitting room. I mean,
yeah,
they had
they were doing very well during that time. कि a girl member band is doing very well. Why don't we try them for movies? So we approached them, and they were very keen to do it. And it happened, and I think the song still sounds good. In
Yeah.
fact, just yesterday I was traveling in the car, and I usually play my music. I shuffle and play. So you might find a old Chitragop, then Anand Milind, then you'll find a Coldplay, then you'll find a Cliff Richard, and then you'll find a Nat King Cole. So then you'll find some instrumentals, maybe Kenny G or Clayderman or whatever. So I heard the song just yesterday, Anand, and it still sounds so good. And this is the only song that was programmed by Ranjit Barot. We didn't work with him on any other song. So there is a little color of Ranjit Barot as well. And I thought that Viva did a good job singing because after that they split. So that's how this song happened.
What is the secret that so many people after so many years still remember you, not just for your music but for the people you are? What is the secret behind that?
The answer to this question, I would love to say, Anthony, start by saying our father, Chitragupta ji, used to always tell us, कि काम 19 चलेगा मगर आदमी 20 होना चाहिए. Your work is 19, it's okay. But as human beings, you should be 20. So probably that's what we learned in life. And I think it's also upbringing, education, culture, all these things matter. And we are always firmly stuck to the ground. We lead very normal lives. If you see our families, you won't feel that it's what they use the term filmy family. And as we spoke about earlier, that education has played such an important role.
Right.
So basically, I think all these things have helped us, in being better human beings, probably. And of course, we are God fearing and we pray a lot, a lot, and all that.
Jealousy factor never creeped into us. If I'm listening to a Jatin Lalit song, I like it, I like it. So, that rivalry feeling is never there.
And
Everybody has space, everybody is good in their own way, everybody is working hard. And we've had fantastic relations with all of them. Jatin Lalit, of course, they are like our brothers only. Even when those days we used to record in sunny super sounds. So we used to sit with Nadeem Shravan, keep chatting, discuss so many things, discuss music, discuss so many other things.
even
With
now,
Allu
like,
Malik, we have got fantastic relations. We just met
yeah,
him 3 4 days ago, and so I mean, really, we have wonderful relations with all of them.
16th of November was our dad's birthday, Chitragupji's. So Anu specially called up and we spoke for 1 hour and he was singing all Papa's songs.
Yeah, wonderful.
So it's mutual admiration for each other. His father also gave such good work,
Yes.
Sardar Malik. And the other thing I also feel is that you're not always on top. One day you might have a lot of work, one day you might not. But I and Anand, we've been so grounded and we are so much into walking, jogging, swimming, traveling, enjoying nature, programming our songs. Of course, music तो कभी छूटता ही नहीं है. And ये सब होने की वजह से we जब काम कम हुआ, less work when we have also, we are not like, there are a lot of composers, oh my god, we don't have work, what will we do, what will we do? It's not like that. Spend time with the family, go out shopping, there's so many things you can do.
No, one thing I would like to add is that most of our friends are from outside the film circle. I think
Yeah,
Milan must be having only doctor friends,
at least 10
all
doctor
busy
friends,
doctors.
not the best doctors, but they all are fans. Like my
Yeah, but I said ki
very
we don't have those filmy talks. Ki, after work also sitting and discussing collection of this film and how much this sold, and there are so many other topics. So we really enjoy that.
not that we are not interested in movies. This is our bread and butter, and this is our profession, and it's always been our passion. And even these doctors, like there's a very close doctor friend of mine, Dr. Naresh Shetty, who's very popular here. So when mummy fell sick, and the first time he treated her, I said, Doctor, I'm a composer. So he started humming songs which even I didn't remember, the lesser popular ones. So I said, my God, how do people remember them?
So I think that is what sets you apart, that you are grounded and you're just so calm and taking every day as it comes. I think that is what truly sets you apart as human
Yes.
beings first and then
But
who.
one thing I must say, because I've been saying it over this pandemic, we've lost almost 2 years, and especially after the second wave in India, none of us were going out. And of course, after two vaccinations, now things are much better, and even Bombay is much better than what it was. But being isolated and staying at home, we bought all our equipments and made a mini studio. Right here, I'm sitting now. I can't focus the camera because the speakers and all are behind. So we bought a MacBook Pro 16, a Logic software, professional headphones and monitor speakers, and we've composed some of the best songs of our life. Now y'all should just pray to God that वो सब कहीं ना कहीं लगे and it releases. We are
Absolutely.
trying, we are trying, and we are definitely doing work. If not movies, it could be OTT platform. We are also releasing a few singles you'll find of ours coming out and releasing in the next 3 to 4 months. We are also in process of opening our own music production label and music publishing label. So then we get a chance to give what we like, because very often in the industry it happens that if you're making a song for a particular label or for a particular producer or whatever for the market, they have a lot of say in it. Change this portion, make this portion like this, don't use this word. And very often the interference spoils the song rather than making it better. So when you have your own label and you have your own publishing, you can actually give your heart out. Whether it succeeds or not succeeds, I mean that's for the audience to decide. And let's
Yeah, absolutely. So, all the best and all
thank
our
you.
good wishes for everything in your new venture
And
and your new.
this is the reason. This is also the reason, Nayantara, why we opened our own academy, because there's such a lot of respect in the
Mhm.
academy. We have 5-year-old, we have 5-year-olds also, and we have students who are 75 and 80-year old also. It 75 years old lady, she's coming and learning keyboard and singing and all. And
Amazing.
we have all kind of students who want to make a mark as a composer or as a singer, students who want to just take on stage. Then there are a lot of people who are retiring and they want to do it as a hobby. And there's so much of respect in this line, Anand Milind's Academy of Music, where we teach and we have our annual functions, and we call celebrities. All the people have visited our academy, Sonu Nigam, Udit, all these guys. We had a big get together a couple of times. It's there on the YouTube as well, if
We
you
will
like.
definitely go and revisit that. And before that, thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us.
Before I go, can I sing two lines for Anandji,
Sure,
one of yours?
Sure.
sure,
I've
sure,
been
sure,
wanting to
sure.
do this all my life. So it's one of your, like you said, one of your lesser known songs. Hopefully you remember it, sung by the great Sonu Nigam and Shreya Ghoshal from a film called We Are Friends. So I'm
We
going to
are
sing.
friends. What a song.
क्या मैं कहूँ क्या हो गया सहमा हुआ एहसास है क्या मैं कहूँ क्या हो गया सहमा हुआ एहसास है तन थिरकने लगा मन बहकने लगा सांस रुकने लगी कुछ तो होने लगा क्या मैं कहूँ क्या हो गया सहमा हुआ एहसास है थैंक यू
My
सर
God, you sing so well, Anthony.
थैंक यू थैंक यू
अब
वेरी मच
मालूम पड़ा कितना
आनंद
म्यूजिक
इनको
आप में अंदर है. हाँ?
नहीं, इनको ब्रेक देना पड़ेगा यार.
He
Come
really sings
Anthony.
well. So that means he sings well, he understands music. So it's a bigger
This
compliment for us.
And
this
Absolutely.
song,
biggest compliment for me, sir. Thank you. Thank you very
this
much.
song,
Thank you so
this
Nice
much,
one.
song,
Anthony.
this song, I must say, I sent to Sonu Nigam about a month, 2 months ago, and he didn't remember it. He heard it and he's saying, "Kya gana hai?" And then he asked which movie and all that. So we were discussing on WhatsApp that if it was for a bigger film or probably a bigger hero, it would have made it really big. So it's really sad, sometimes such songs don't do well. But of course, great satisfaction and well sung, Anthony.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Nayantara.
you.
Thank you. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Anthony. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
And it's a pleasure talking to you.
Coming back to your music academy, what advice would you like to give this new generation of uh, folks that are interested in music? Something from your experience, something that would benefit them. Any such advice that you have for the next generation?
So the first thing is that a person should know whether he has talent in him or no, and only then pursue it. And Another thing which we always tell people is that there's no compromise on hard work. You have to really labor, because very often you see people, थोड़ा बहुत नाम हो जाता है, then they feel, now it's fine, now we made it. That's a very dangerous trend. So you have to work hard, and your riyaz or whatever you do it with all your heart and mind. That's very important.
Yeah, I especially search for this because I write it and keep. And I tell all my students that follow the four P's. P. So the P's are patience, which is saburi, patience. You should have a lot of patience to learn music. Practice, which Anand just said, riyaz. Practice is very important. Perseverance is very important. You can't just, you have to keep working hard over it. And passion. I always say you should have passion for music. And we always tell all our students, whether they are learning the guitar, keyboard, Hindustani vocal, Western vocal, or the flute or the drums. I always tell the people that listen to all kinds of music because music has no language, no barrier, absolutely. You can listen to music from Korea, you can listen to music from China, from Japan, you can listen to Hindi music, English music, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada. So don't leave any music and listen to all kinds of music, whether it's jazz or pop or rock, soft rock or acid rock or whatever. So basically, listen to classical, listen to opera, everything,
So basically,
and
keep
that
your
really
mind
helps.
open. Keep your mind
Yeah,
open to
yeah,
anything. You never know what might inspire you.
absolutely. Listen to new music, listen to old music as well, because that's another thing that this generation is missing. Most of the parents who come to join, enroll in our academy, they're so odd. Ki all made Papa kehte hai, all made Gazab ka din. And then they tell their children, these are the composers who made. The children don't know about QSQT because they are 5 years or 6 years or 7 years old.
Oh,
So
really?
that's where,
But that I must say is uh, at least here the kids are pretty much well aware of
that's very good.
your music.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the kids here don't know anything about music, say about
you
seven to
know
8 years.
that could also be because when we came here, we have held on to that uh, idol of India and
But
that
that's
music.
good.
We have held on to it because we haven't really we hear new music too, but the kind of impact that your music 80s 90s music has had on us, we have held on to that. So very naturally, that's why we passed it on to the next generation, so they are very much also aware. So yeah,
But this happens because you're staying so far from India that you want to. I've always seen all over the world, uh, people living outside are more connected to Indian music. It's a
correct.
very strange thing, but it's always like this.
But one more question that comes to my mind is you have seen the journey of, uh, the change in music.
Yeah, when we started our career, there was no stereophonic music also. We used to record all our songs in mono, and it used to be one go, with 100-piece orchestra or 125 or whatever, and just one track for the voice, and then one or two tracks for the orchestra and rhythm and everything. So, actually speaking, we've seen the entire transition, how it went from mono to stereo, then from stereo to multi-tracking, from multi-tracking to then gradually came down to digital and computers and everything. So just one thing which I feel is that it's not that I'm complaining, and it's not that उन दिनों म्यूजिक बहुत अच्छा था, म्यूजिक आज भी अच्छा है, just it's just that times keep changing. But that fun of recording live, when you have the singers and the musicians actually playing the song, everybody gelling so well. इसके लिए we always tell people that it had, जिसको हम soul बोलते हैं, that is missing now because everything is so, sort of disjointed. Somebody, you go with a track, you just dump it, and then somebody else comes, he plays his part and moves on, and then the if it's a duet, one singer comes and sings. So वो एक थोड़ा सा I feel that that's missing. Those days were real fun for us because now there are so many composers also who like to hear from us because they cannot even imagine, because if there was one single mistake in a 5 or 6 minute song with so many people playing, if whether it was a musician or the playback artist, so you have to start from scratch, start the take again. So those were the days, but then it's okay. Today, even we are using the computers, we are using logic and everything. I always tell people that you should use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You should have a lot of clarity in your mind. Yes, this is my composition. This is what I want. This is what I expect, and then you start programming whatever stuff. Sometimes what happens, there are some people, because it's a computer, it's going to loop. So whatever you make, it's going to loop, and there's going to be some form or format. So there are many people who who they are not very clear about what they actually want. Those are the songs which never work. So you have to be very clever. Always remember, let you should use the computer. Don't let the computer
Very
overpower
well
your
said.
talent.
Very well said. Everything that you said, that kind of strikes a chord, because it's there is a grain of truth to it. Uh,
Yes.
Coming to now that we are talking about recent times, is there any singer that you would like you know to have them sing your composition? Any one singer that comes to mind, or what do you think about the current crop of singers? Who do you like?
Arijit Singh is good, very good.
We are waiting
And
to hear Arijit sing in your compositions.
let's see.
And off late, I have been noticing that there are so many singers. It's like a flood of singers, artists. So it's very difficult to name any one. Of course, forget Kishore Kumar and Rafi Saab. Even after that, when Udit was there, or Alka, or
Mhm.
whoever, Purnima, and then Sonu Nigam, Kunal Ganjawala. So we remember these names. Now I think you have a choice of, I think, I don't know how many. There's one song, there might be 500 singers who might be. But one thing which I always feel is that why do they, many of them, I'm not complaining that way, why do many of them sound similar? You can't make out one from the other. But it's very important to have your own individuality, to make a mark.
Right.
Otherwise, people are going to just hear and forget. But then there are talented singers, there's no doubt. Of late, I've heard so many of them, they sing amazingly. And luckily for them, they have very good platforms where they can actually showcase their talent.
And any music director of of today's current music scene that really stands out to you?
All of them are doing good work. I mean, from Shankar Ehsaan Loy to Vishal Shekhar, Sajid Wajid, Himesh
Pritam,
Reshammiya has his own style, and I have always
Pritam,
observed that Pritam, as far as Himesh Reshammiya is concerned, and even Sajid Wajid, if you notice their songs, they, they have never gone haywire. They always have a compact format.
Form.
This is the mukhra, this is the yantra, and a lot of melody. Of course, the style of melody keeps changing with times, but I think all these talented people are really doing well.
I know you've said that, I heard on one of your interviews that you said that you never know which song of yours is going to be a hit, because if you knew that, then you would always deliver hits. I think
yeah,
Milinji said that.
yeah.
So, but any song that you composed that you knew was, this is going to make it. Any song that gave you that kind of feeling?
Actually, while recording any song, we never thought of this aspect. We just went by the fact that this is the situation, this is the film. So we used to just work hard and just see that the song is perfect to our satisfaction. But then, whether it works or no, one thing is there that it has to be very simple, because as so many previous composers, senior composers used to say कि अगर पब्लिक ही नहीं समझ पाएगी या गा पाएगी तो आप किसके लिए बना रहे हैं. And simplicity is very important, and it's the most difficult task It's very easy to make a complicated song and spoil things, but very difficult to make a simple song. Believe me.
It has to be
So
hummable. Hummable
yeah,
नहीं होगा तो सब लोग कैसे
yeah,
उनके उनके जुबान पे होना चाहिए वो गाना
absolutely.
हमेशा.
And we are working in a commercial industry. That's the purpose. So there were many songs which we felt they are nice. But kitna chalega, it was very difficult. Like there was one
No, but
director.
to be frank, Anand, like QSQT when the film released, we didn't
Yeah,
know that the film would be such a massive hit, and
yeah,
neither did we know that the songs will be a rage. We worked very hard on them, and we really enjoyed composing them. And we knew that we were quite sure that people will like it, but it'll go up to this level. We never thought of that.
we didn't. In
Then
fact, yeah,
there was this film called Mahasangram, which we did for Nitin Manmohan was the producer, Mukul Anand was the director. Now that was such a massive film, and I thought that songs like "Ah Bahu Mein Aaye" and all will be massive hits. They were hits, but they didn't reach up to that level because again, I think the film didn't do too well. So I always tell people that films and songs go hand in hand. If the film runs, then the songs will also be a hits, and or vice versa. If the songs are hit, they sometimes make the film a hit. So both the things are very important, I feel, for the film success and the music success.
yeah. And like when we were doing a lot of films for South producers, Hindi films. So there was one particular director. The system of working over there was we used to go to Hyderabad or Chennai, and we used to be there for around 7 to 8 days and give them tunes to choose from. So maybe we were working on four situations, so
Sometimes
10
with the lyrics also.
with lyrics
Samir,
and everything. So they used to ultimately, finalize and then zero down. Ki, this is good, this is good, this is good, and then the music was recorded. So this particular director, he used to ring me up after a couple of months, early in the morning. Anandji, yes, I had left this tune and now it has released in some other film and it's become a massive hit. Why didn't you tell me that it was going to be such a big hit? So I used to tell him, sir, had I known it, I would not make a single song which was not a hit. So very difficult to, you know.
but then
Mm.
there have also been quite a few films and songs which we've enjoyed. Like Anand named one, Sangeet. और अब्बा कोई तो बताए प्यार होता है क्या, and even the other songs in it. It was fun working with the director K. Vishwanath. I think one of the best directors that we worked with. And similarly, we did a film which became very popular in festivals. It was directed by Amol Palekar and produced by the Pravesh Sippy called Daira. You must listen to those songs. Very good songs in Daira. And lyrics were by Gulzar Saab. Then we did this Mrityu Dand.
Yeah.
That was Prakash Jha's movie, Madhuri Dixit.
Madhuri Dixit and
Yeah. And
Ayaz Khan.
Yeah, Javed Saab, Javed Akhtar and us. Now that music, if you listen to, it's very different from
Yes.
what we give.
I
Uh,
remember the songs of Mrityu Dand.
yeah, there was
Beautiful.
one Hariharan Sadhna song, रात महके तो यूं भी होता है, चांद धरती पे आके सोता है. Or there was one Sanu Sadhna song, तुम बिन मन की बात अधूरी. But there was another song in it which did very well. That was कह दो एक बार सजना.
कह दो एक बार सजना.
Different kind of films and different directors, different lyric writers. We worked with almost like 30, 40, 25, 30, 40, I think around 40 lyric writers. Most of
Yes.
our work has been with Samir ji, but we worked with Majroo Sultanpuri, we worked with Rajinder Krishan
Mhm.
among the older generation, and among the new also, all of them, most of
Anand
them.
Bakshi,
Anand
Santosh
Bakshi also.
Anand, Santosh
Anjan,
Anand ji.
Anjan,
You said that you worked with Samir ji the most. I mean, about 100 songs, I think, was
987. We are waiting,
987.
we
Yes.
are waiting for 13 more songs to make it 1,000.
So, was that a calculated move or it just happened?
It just happened because we always say we were around the same age. So Samir is 1 year younger than Anand, and
Okay.
I'm 1 year younger than Samir. So we almost the same age. So that made world of a difference, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
And going from here to
Samir is 24 and you are 23.
so you're 25. Oh,
Of course. And so any song that's coming up in, upcoming release, or anything, if you can just hum a line or two, your favorite QSQT song.
if you can give a minute, I'll just get my guitar.
Okay,
Sure.
what do you think about recreations of your songs? You know how they are recreated, especially the songs on in the new Coolie Number 1 movie. They are your songs. They are your songs. They have been recreated, put in a different package, and
I'm not too happy, regarding recreations because I feel that they just add some rhythm and it becomes like a jhankar beat and they spoil everything. And what is the contribution of anyone? One thing which I was telling some person recently, see, we are tech savvy, we are into electronics. So we could have done the same song. We have given birth to that song. I mean,
exactly.
when we are available, I don't know why people have to go and catch hold of anyone, whoever it may be. It just and there is no attachment for that person with that particular song.
Particular song, whereas this it's very personal. It's your
Absolutely,
melody. You would have made changes but kept
changes for the betterment. Maybe definitely
it
would
right.
have would have lived the song again and then come out with something brilliant. So, but now I think of late, it's gradually people are getting fed up of remixes. They want to hear some new compositions, new songs.
Yes,
In fact,
or
recently I heard one song which was Viju Shah's song. Viju Shah is a very close friend
mohra,
of ours.
the mohra song, tip tip barsa pani.
Yeah. So I was actually shocked because Viju is a genius. I mean, you should see him playing the keyboard and everything, and he's very much into it. He goes to his music room, he's very much into it. So imagine what a chance people miss. They should have told him, this is the song, we want to do it again.
Recreate it, so he would have
Recreate it.
done it in
He
his
would have
style.
thought of some ideas which nobody else would think about.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's very, very sad actually. And another thing is that they don't even mention your names in so
I,
many places.
that is what I was coming to. That is what I was
What
asking you.
I mean, if it's a any of our songs, for example, Papa Kehte Hain, how
Hmm.
can you write music by so and so? How can it be? It's not possible.
It's
It
not
should be
possible.
just recreated by so and so or re-recorded or whatever. They should term it in a
So here's the thing, sir. So did they ever ask permission before
no.
using
Nobody asked permission, but now gradually copyright and all these things are people are becoming more and more aware. So at least from zero somewhere we have reached. I get to see my name in many, at least Coolie Number 1. They were decent enough to give our names everywhere, including
Okay.
the title of the film.
So let's hear your favorite song.
Let's hum Papa Kehte Hain, Anand, because I've got that finger problem, na, Arne, so that'll be easy for me.
But sir, you know what? There'll be a mismatch because you both are in different places.
Let's try it.
You sing.
पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ। आनंद सिंह
री 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 नहीं सुनाई नहीं पड़ा करेगा मुश्किल है
पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा।
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this wonderful time. You have given us precious moments to cherish for a lifetime. Thank you so much for talking with
Thank
us.
you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And
Thank you.
Real pleasure, and thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll bring on Sharbani. Hello, Sharbani.
hello,
Thank you so
hi.
much. Thank you. Hi, Anand sir. Hi, Milan sir.
And on behalf of Bharat TV, Bharat FM, I would like to thank Anandji, Milinji. Thank you so much for sparing your precious time with us. And thank you, Sharbani and Suparna. We must not forget Suparna for arranging this beautiful meetup for us at Bharat TV and Bharat FM. Thank you.
Thank you, and bye bye.
That was Anandji, Milinji for Stars Aligned on Bharat TV and Bharat FM.